So,
all right, guys, salute to the NBA community and welcome back to the Best of Seven Sports Talk. I am Seven Mitchell. We are in the building tonight, man. We had some crazy games on deck. Salute to the NBA community, man. As you guys can see, I'm joined tonight by the dynamic duo from Sports to the Wire podcast. I'm going to let the fellas introduce themselves, man. Let the people know who you are, fellas. Appreciate you guys.
You start
all
off
right.
first.
I'm Barrick. I'm Barrick Burrell. I'm one half of Sports to the Wire. We've been at it for I think 3 years now. Amazingly,
Two and a
time has
half.
gone
Two and a
by.
half.
You think it's 2.5? Okay. All right. So it seemed like 3 years now at
April
this
will be
point.
3 years. April will be 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been covering every different sport. We've been doing things live. We've been doing things in public, but we've been trying our best to make it work, and it's been working for the most part. And talking about sports with Rasheed has been a fantastic journey, to say the
I
least.
love y'all chemistry, bro. I told Rasheed before, I told you as well off air, man. The chemistry that you guys got is raw, it's authentic, and y'all really give it up, man. So salute to y'all.
Thanks,
Rasheed, bro. Let the
Appreciate
people
it.
know. I know. Welcome back to the platform, but Rasheed, let everybody know what you got going on and just a little bit of history about you, bro.
Oh yeah, man. Just I've been loved the game of basketball. I played it for like almost 25 years, still playing, and studied the game, and just actually want to impart my knowledge on to other people over there, and dispel the myths of the mainstream sports media, like the Nick Wright and all these guys, and your Charlestons, and because these guys don't know what the hell they're talking about, man. Non-hoopers, man.
What Draymond call it, the new media? That's what Draymond
Yeah, the
calls
new
the new
media.
media.
See,
That's how we
Beric
give
and
it
I
away.
met him actually playing ball, man. Him and I played ball together, back in the day, man. Yeah.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was in a sunny afternoon, early too. This guy came out of nowhere, man. And then it started from there.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, we gotta
Bust his
go.
ass a couple of times. Bust his ass a couple of times, but
We need some footage. Man, salute to my
It's all
guys,
good,
man.
bro. It's all good,
Absolutely,
man.
bro. We got a fire
Yeah.
show on deck for the people tonight, man. So buckle up. So let's get things started. I want to get things started with my guy Rasheed's team, the
Right.
Brooklyn Nets, man. Their 4-game winning streak was snapped 103-92. The Boston Celtics went into the Barclays Center and got the win tonight. Jaylen Brown, 34 points, 10 rebounds. Jason Tatum helped out with 29 and 11. Fellas, what do y'all think about Brooklyn up and down roller coaster season, first of all, before we even get into tonight's game?
Barrett, you want me to go? You
go ahead, man. You go ahead, resident Net fan. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I mean, listen, we were operating on a skeleton crew today. I predicted earlier that they'll lose by maybe 10, 11, 12 points. Turnovers. Nick Claxton, he has to work on his free throw shooting. They had a whole bunch of guys that didn't play in the first 20, 15 something games. The rookies, the Kessler Edwards, the Cam Thomas, but we had a litany of injuries there. And I don't know. It was a winnable game. I mean, both teams turned the ball over. Both teams didn't play well. I just think if Brooklyn had its full cast of most of it, I think they could have won this game. Kyrie was abysmal. He was like a -16 in the plus-minus category. I mean, he went with a 6 for 19, I believe. I think he could play
pathetic shooting tonight, bro. Pathetic shooting tonight.
Yeah. I just think him actually having to run the point guard position and then having to integrate every single person, and then by the time he gets the ball back, you're looking at 6-7 seconds on the shot clock, and then it's just they got to get a backup point guard. I know the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, everybody's saying a big man, but they really, they should have got Malcolm Brogdon. The damn Celtics got him for nothing. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have to even give up a lot for Brogdon. So how you let the Boston Celtics get him? So just the role players for the Boston Celtics actually played well in terms of Brogdon and Derek White.
Right.
And so, yeah, pretty much. Injuries. And we have a plethora of them. right now.
Yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to happen in basketball, man. We talked a lot about, them having their preseason games and then being able to, utilize good time and obviously, good substitution. Giving guys the adequate time they need on the bench to get their breather and get back on the floor and do things like that and keep that continuity going. But, you talk about the percentages. I mean, you look over here. I mean, Boston shot 43% and Brooklyn shot 40%. I mean, you pretty
Yeah,
much got an equal
Jaylen Brown was
performance.
on fire, man. He hit his
You know?
first 5 and 6 from three.
Yeah.
Just tip your hat off on him. You just try to maybe they could do a better job of running him off the 3-point line, scrambling and getting running him off the 3-point line if he's that hot. But
Yeah, but it was pretty even tonight, man. I mean, the rebound position was even. Boston had 48. Brooklyn had 45, Um, the
But
turnovers are
Boston,
even, 15-14. I mean, it's been pretty even games
when
overall in that sense.
Brooklyn tried to make that run, they went to Hacker-Claxton, and then he went one
at
from
the
6,
end.
and that kind of disrupted any kind of rhythm that the Brooklyn Nets was probably trying to get into.
Well, that's the
Salute to my
downside of that.
guys in the live chat. Big up to my brothers Magnus and my brother BA in the building. Y'all fellas, salute to y'all.
Thanks a lot, brother.
How much of an impact, fellas, do y'all think Ben Simmons is going to be for this team? Because of course he did not play today. So this is like the $1 million question. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how much of an impact is Ben Simmons really going to be for the Nets this season?
Big impact. I mean, big impact. He's a
Absolute big
matchup
impact.
nightmare. What's most of the point guards in the NBA, Barrick? Like 6'3", 6'4"?
Average, yeah, 6'3", 6'4".
6'3", 6'4".
Average height, yeah. This guy is 6'10",
so as
right?
soon as he
He's
actually
6'10", yeah.
6'11", rounded off 7 feet damn near. So he brings the ball up. I mean, you immediately got to throw an extra guy at him, and he can. I like the way he moves well without the basketball, setting screens. When he's actually playing, the ball is actually popping. It moves and it doesn't get stuck, and it allows Kevin Durant and Kyrie to actually play more off the ball than on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Where they don't actually have to make a ton of decisions.
That's right. He allows for more spacing on the floor. And being that he is a matchup nightmare, you can have him bring the ball up the floor. You can have him set up on the wing, post up down low on a short. You can get the matchup on his advantage as far as height's concerned. I mean, a lot of things that he can do, and it allows you to freedom, a latitude to just get Kevin involved, a latitude to get Kyrie involved. It's just if Seth is on the floor, come on, Seth and Joe Harris are hitting their shots. Forget about it.
Yeah, he can also guard 1 through 5 too. Yeah, he can guard 1 through 5.
Yeah, well, what about on the other side of the court, Bert? Like when it comes to the Celtics, because you talk about a roller coaster for the Nets, man. The Celtics have had a roller coaster offseason. Are you surprised at the success that Boston is having so far early on this year?
You know what? I am a little surprised by it because I believe in distractions, and if you cannot handle distractions, it's amazing how much it can really destroy your team inside and out. But unfortunately for Boston, they have found a way to handle it, and they've got the right pieces in place as far as the managerial office all the way down to the coaching staff, and they found ways to continue the continuity of what they do. They got a lot of wing players, man. And their guard plays off the hook. I mean, you can't guard Jason Tatum. You cannot guard Jaylen Brown. I mean, these guys are just, these guys are dominating. But they've been able to find ways to deal with the distractions. They've been able to find ways to do this without Robert Williams. I mean, I like Robert Williams.
Yep. That's a fact, bro.
You've been able to do it without Robert Williams. Imagine when this man comes back. How are they going to be on the defensive end? So they found ways to make things happen. They found ways to move the basketball and say, listen, Jason Tatum, you're our guy. Jaylen Brown, you're our second guy. Are you guys accepting these roles? Yes, we are. So guess what? We are good to go. Al Horford's accepting his role. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. They're playing great defense. They move well without the basketball. The ball moves around the floor. This is the way Boston's been doing. They got the best record in basketball for a reason, man.
Rasheed, what's your thoughts about Bart saying Jason is the real number one in Boston? Do you not feel like Jaylen is the real actual leader in the Celtics? Who do you feel like is the number one?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of their games, I think Jason Tatum has better footwork. He's a better shooter. ball handling, like playing more under control. I would say Jason Tatum. But Jaylen Brown, I mean, he's been working on that jump shot. Now he's been working on it in the offseason. And it's starting to really see it, but it depends. I don't know, man.
I look at it from the angle of when these games count the most and in the playoffs, bro. Like you said, skill set wise, Jason got it. But when you need that, when you really need a leader, somebody, you know what I'm saying, not just vocally, but I just feel like Jaylen really showed himself last postseason that he is.
Yeah, Tatum was dealing with an injury. He had that shoulder injury, I think, in the Bucks series, and it really kind of affected him somewhat. And then the role players for the Boston Celtics in that finals didn't show up. I mean, Derek White, good in the regular season, but in the playoffs, disappeared.
Grant Williams, another guy that just,
another one that disappeared. Marcus Smart didn't run the point guard position. I mean, I saw Jason Tatum wide open, and then Marcus Smart just dribbles into a double team and turns the ball over. I'm like, yo, you got to survey the floor, man. Come on. You're a point guard, man. But I think he's doing a better job this year. He's probably learned from that experience, and we'll see how it translates into the playoffs. Because regular season and the playoffs are two totally different seasons. You know.
I like the fact that just want to make it real quick. Overall, I mean, Boston plays great defense, man. We have to tip our hats off to Boston. They play great defense, bro. Great team defense, and they get the stops when they have to.
I'm just so shell shocked, bro. It's a lot of basketball to play, but I would have not bet the rip money at all that Boston would have started this season off so successful.
They're just doing the same thing they did with Udoka, man. Same system pretty much, and then just stick with it. It actually works. Don't try to get too ahead of yourself. Right. I mean, isolation basketball works if you actually have the matchup. Like if Tatum got a small switched onto him. Forget all that ball movement. Just go at the damn mismatch. You know what I'm saying? But
but they keep it. They keep it straight, bro. They keep it straight. But they have found a way to overcome the distraction that will probably tear half the teams in the NBA right now. I know the Knicks will be one of them, but we ain't talking about them right now. But that's another disappointment. But Boston's really handling their business. I think the Nets. Let's just tip our hat off to the Nets. They've had a lot of distraction as well, and they've been able to get through that distraction. So they've been putting some games together.
It's not getting everybody healthy. They have a lot of injuries. Guys coming off long layoffs. Edmund Summer missed a year. T.J. Warren missed almost 2 years. Ben Simmons missed a year and a half. So just Joe Harris missed a whole year. So just getting everybody's timing, rhythm, confidence back. And I think the Brooklyn Nets got a squad. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, he believes they're gonna go all the way and win the chip. But I told him let's easy on that. Let's see how this plays. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see how it plays out.
Think about it, man. Think about it, man. Go ahead, Sam. I'm sorry. You're the host.
Is it safe to say? Is it safe to say that Kyrie and KD is going to finish the season off in the Brooklyn uniform?
Yeah. He's a high percentage one-on-one player, man. See, Joe Harris, I could take away his 3-point shooting. Steph Curry, I could take away his 3-point shooting. You try to take away Kyrie's first option, he has a second option, a third option, a fourth option, and you're going to need that when it comes to these deep playoff runs because they really, really, like I told you on the last show you and I did together, Seven, these opposing coaches, they break your game down to the molecule.
That's what I'm saying?
Any kind of weakness you have in your game, they will exploit it. They will exploit it. And there's no weaknesses in Kyrie's game other than his actual size, used to say. Wish he was like 6'6", but he's 6'3", 6'2 and a half, 6'3".
Well, speaking of weakness, man, this is the best of 7 sports talk. I want to get into the next topic, fellas. I want to talk about Kawhi Leonard real quick, bro. I need you guys' reaction on Kawhi Leonard and what we have here because there are people on social media really wanting the NBA. I told Rasheed, they want the NBA to investigate Kawhi Leonard's injuries because they feel like it's a lot of fake injuries going down. I want people to really understand. I want people to understand this. A couple stats I'm going to throw out here. Twitter, the social media app Twitter, since the last time Kawhi Leonard played a basketball game, Twitter wasn't owned by Elon Musk. It
Mm-hmm.
still has 7,500 employees. There was no Twitter Blue Check program. And this was only 3 weeks ago. Before last month, Kawhi Leonard, his first game was in 476 days. Like, I'm looking at this whole situation with the injuries Kawhi've had over the years and the teams. I'm not seeing nothing significant, fellas, that will warrant him to be out for so long.
Well, we look at Brandon Roy sometimes, and listen, Kawhi plays hard. He really does play really, really hard. And I keep telling people, man, these players, people think that, oh, they don't play defense in the NBA. No, you got to play defense in the NBA. Ja Morant, you need to stay with his ass. Like if Kawhi is guarding him, he needs to use 100% of his physical ability to try to stay with him and try to deny him. And it's not easy. And it's probably, who knows? I mean, I don't think he's faking any type of injuries. I mean, to get to his level, you got to eat, sleep, love basketball to get to the level he's actually at.
So what's the hold up, bro?
Well, I don't know, but you asked a very interesting question, man. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm looking at a list of rest, sore knee, rest, sore knee.
But look at Barrett. Look at Lonzo Ball. I mean, it's been a while for him. Same thing with his knee injury.
But you can't compare that sample size of Lonzo to a sample size
but see, Kawhi's been out a lot longer. And like I said, I'm looking at okay, October 31st, 2019, load management. All right. Right before that, personal. After that, rest. Then knee. Those scenarios in itself shows you that might be something going on. And he missed the entire season last year, of course. Well, but it's always been knee, rest, personal. Yeah, but I mean, this is a long time that you're talking about a player of Kawhi Leonard's capabilities, while this man, who also does take good care of his body, does work hard in the offseason. So when this guy gets on the floor, why is he having such a hard time staying on the floor now?
Well, we could probably trace it back to the San Antonio days where they rushed him back from an injury. Remember that whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to rush him. They rushed him back, and then he had another setback, and he wasn't really ready.
But he was totally healthy in Toronto. He was totally healthy in Toronto.
It's a different NBA today. These guys are, like I said, they're much more explosive, and I don't know if it's a diet thing. I mean, I don't know. They got to probably get a nutritionist to see what he's probably eating.
It's also the personal trainers too, though. You know what I'm saying? It's the personal trainers and how they're arranging them. And, the schedule they put them on, along with the dieting, all of this. And then you're talking about traveling, talking about back-to-backs and, media requirements, and then getting into the gym and working on those kinks, whatever is bothering you. There's so many different things that go along with it. And during the basketball season, you don't have that much flexibility to do that. So for him to have these array of different injuries, ankle, knee, rest management, all this involved from 2 years ago, now last season, we're talking about all within 2019. We're seeing a list of everything.
We looked at Zion Williamson. He only played 85 games in 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
We look at Brandon Roy, Greg Oden, who had
Greg Oden. About it.
Man. He had a lot of setbacks.
But them guys was never, Rasheed, considered the best player in the world. I can remember in 2019 when Kawhi first went to the Clippers, that was the storyline they was trying to push. Like he was the new king of LA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was just a marketing. That's a marketing ploy right there, man.
He's
one of the best players in the NBA. I wouldn't say the best player in the world.
Where do you rank him now? Where do you rank him? I mean,
if he was healthy,
bar injuries, is he top 5?
If he was healthy, he's top 10.
Yeah,
if he's healthy, playing at his level, he's top 10 because he was difficult to defend, and he had a good high quality of jump shots, 15, 20 footer, going to make a difference. 3-point shooting, the man was nailing his plays. He was getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line, hitting his free throws, defending well. So in his prime, playing extremely well and being healthy, this man is definitely a top 10 player. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
No doubt. That's what's so disappointing right now.
If I was starting a team with him, I don't know if I put him in my top 5. I mean, that's That's kind of hard. Man, there's so many
No,
good
you can
players
start a
in the league,
team. You can
man.
start a team with this man healthy
Yeah,
and playing the way he played. You
they
can
got a
start. You
lot of
can
good
definitely
players
team
out
together with
there.
him.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just Kawhi. I mean, you got Ja Moran. I mean, you got a lot of Tatum. You know, if
Right.
you have a chance between Tatum and Kawhi, who would you take? You know, I mean, that's
But
a
right
really,
now,
really
you
no,
take
no,
you
no. I mean,
well.
if healthy, if Kawhi is healthy, and you got Tatum, you know what I'm saying? It's you see what I'm saying, Barrick? It's hard, man. It's really, really,
Well,
really, really. They have so many good players in this league now, man. It's
but
crazy.
you can't dismiss the system. We talked a lot about system. We can't dismiss that. So one player might fit your system where versus another player not fitting your system. So it
Well,
depends on the coach and all that stuff. Everything's variable, but I do believe at this point you do have to take Tatum. He's younger. He has a higher ceiling.
Well,
You
based
know,
on
and you
their
can.
skill set, forget like their skill sets. What Kawhi Leonard brings to the table, skill set wise, and let's say what Tatum brings to the table, skill set wise. You know, that's
Well,
what I'm
we
saying.
got
right now you got to go
Because
with Tatum.
Tatum
He's
is
a younger
more
player.
better off the ball than Kawhi Leonard. You know, Kawhi Leonard's not really great off the ball, where Tatum is good off the ball, catch and
so what's
shoot three.
needed? What's needed?
Hmm?
Because Kawhi and PG, they what 60 and 22 together with the Clippers. So what are we
Hmm.
asking for from Kawhi Leonard at this point? More time off?
I think. Oh
I mean,
man, I
listen,
think.
we seen injuries, man. It's just weird. Lonzo Ball. I mean, he was supposed to come back. He had a timetable for return, and he keeps
Mhm.
having setbacks after setbacks, and the doctors don't really know what's going on with his knee. Yeah, I mean,
It's just not healing properly, man. That's the bottom line. It's just not healing properly. And that's not something you can really credit against the player. You're just going to have to figure out medically what can you do to get him back on the court. Because I've seen many players in multi different sports have had this issue. Like you just can't get him back on the field. You can't get him back on the court. And you just have to give it more time. And that's the unfortunate part. And some franchises just don't have that type of time to wait. But in
Right.
Ball's case, they do. They all find time to wait. In case in LA, they've definitely waited for Kawhi. If you can
but
tell how long they waited for
let me
Kawhi.
ask you something, and Barrett, let me ask you something.
Hmm.
If you're Steve Ballmer, man, you're kind of pulling your hair out, right? Like what the. I mean, the money
Hmm.
that he's actually spending, he's a really good owner too, man. And just to see the you know, because the Lakers right now, we're going to get into the Lakers, I believe, but the Lakers are really, really uh, um, laying down there, just ready for a death throw with the Clippers in terms of taking over the city. And
And
it's
they
just, you
can't
have
do
all
it.
these issues
They
over
They
here,
can't
can't
do
do
man.
it.
it.
And
They
so if you're
can't do
Steve
it.
Ballmer, man, you're kind of like really kind of pulling your hair out, man. You're like, what
That's
the
a fact.
fuck?
Because
You know,
because they
that's
were
the
all
thing.
in. They were all
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
2019. I think the Clippers, they built that team not to win the championship, but to beat the Lakers. And they didn't get a chance to play the Lakers when they counted the most.
That's
So
right.
I know he's definitely
That's right.
frustrated with Kawhi. Um, Key question for my guy Anthony in the live chat. I want to ask both of you fellas: is there a chance that Kawhi has this Ben Simmons syndrome, where this whole thing is more mental than actually physical?
Oh man, great question. Great question. It does become a little mental after a while. It does.
Mm,
When we're trying to get back into some level of consistency physically, and no matter what you do, based on your knowledge, based on your experience and how to get yourself prepared and ready to play, if you're unable to do it and there's setbacks galore, it does become a mental issue. And I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
just speaking
mental
from
thing. If you
experience.
hurt your knee, you gotta
Yeah.
watch how you from me. I hurt my knee. I'm like, damn, I gotta
Hmm.
watch how I explode off it. I mean, I don't want to
Hmm.
go too hard, and you're constantly overthinking things. And I mean, yeah, it could be a psychological impact until
Yeah,
he
it could
really
definitely be
kind of
mental.
tough
Hmm.
it. And
Yeah,
Barrett,
absolutely.
you had knee surgery, you know, and you're like, you want to
I
get back
tore
on
my
the
knee
court.
twice.
You're kind of like, yeah, you're kind of leery in a sense, though, like, and
wow.
then yeah, man,
It's a trust value. I mean,
yeah.
I tore my knee twice, but
The
it's a
same
trust
knee?
value. Patella tendon rupture, both knees.
Shit.
You know, so you got to really trust it, have faith in it, and realize that the surgically repaired knee was done 100% well. And then you just got to give it time, get the knee back into full motion. With any particular injury, we're just going by with any injury. And once you know you're back where you belong, then you have to trust that and go back out there and play. But for some guys, it's not that easy because they're
No,
just
it's not.
worried about they're going to tear it up again.
Yeah. I was. It bothered me when I hurt my knee. I had to be taken away by ambulance playing ball. I'm like,
Oh my
that's it. I'm
God.
done. And I'm like, oh man, I'm just. it took me a long time just to get comfortable, really kind of playing again, man. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Definitely could be a mental thing.
yeah, it
Oh,
is. It could
definitely,
be.
definitely, most definitely, most definitely.
All right, guys, this is the best of seven sports talk. Seven Mitchell in the building. We got sports to the wire joining us. Make sure y'all smash that like button, share the video. We're about to get into the next topic. Speaking of injuries, fellas, there is a report going down in Atlanta. Trae
Uh-oh.
Young and the head coach Nate McMillan, they had an exchange of words on Friday,
Right.
and it got so heated. Trae Young opted not to even come to the game for the Denver game.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts? I mean, I'm looking at really what happened. They say while Trae Young was receiving treatment on his right shoulder, sources say the coach asked him whether or not he would participate in shoot-arounds, receive treatment during the walkthrough, and play in the game later against Denver. But Young made it clear that he wanted to focus solely on his treatment while missing
Mm-hmm.
shoot-around, and he'll decide later on whether to play. So Nate McMillan pretty much approached him with two options. You either come off the bench or don't show up at all. Trae Young opted to
Ah.
not show up at all. Then when he wakes up this morning,
Mm-mm-mm.
it's like everything is out in the media. So apparently people in his locker room, his teammates was feeding information, to outsiders. What's your reaction to this whole thing that's going
Well,
down in Atlanta?
Nate McMillan has to be really careful. I get what he's trying to do. He wants to hold the star player, accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So the other guys kind of fall in line. But then again, he is your star player, and he's not privy to the same type of rules in a sense. Though there's a lot of things you'll let slide, and with him that you won't with a guy that's number 14, 15, 16, 17 man on the bench.
Right. That's true. More production, more tolerance. Who, but I mean, who has more cachet in the league right now
You would say
overall?
you would say Trae Young. He's the
Trey
player.
Young, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's the player. I
Not,
mean,
not,
listen.
not that many Trey Youngs around, man. You always can get another coach. I mean, you
Yeah,
Joker's floating around out there. What's his name? Quinn Snyder's floating around out there. There's a lot of coaches out there, you know.
yeah, and the thing is too, and to kind of go with it, because according to what I also see in the article, he has practiced fully. And he probably will play against Oklahoma City. But when you're the head coach, just touching on a few points that's been already made. When you're the head coach, you want to be careful about losing the locker room, and usually you have the star player that you have a relationship with, and that star player can take the conversation that you have and then take it to the rest of the locker room. When you lose the star player, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose the locker room
The whole
too.
team, right? Okay.
So you
Okay.
need to be very careful about how you go about business. Your intentions to motivate your star player to get back on the floor, I understand it, but you got to take baby steps with it. The moment you just put yourself in a position where you cannot relate to your star player anymore, the team is going to lose you. You're going to start losing games. They're going to quit on you. It's going to be pretty obvious around everywhere. The management's going to say, listen, we got to do something about it. And to the whole point, the coach is going hell of a lot quicker before the player
Yeah,
does.
I think they're the fourth seed right now, and
I think,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
I'm trying to
They're
find
13
out
and
where
10
they're
right
at.
now. I think they're 13-10 right now.
Right. They're 13-10 right now.
Mm-hmm.
5.5 games back.
Yep.
So how does this thing end though, Burke? Like we know this shit is like with drama, like where there's smoke, there's fire. So how does
Yep.
this thing end? Are they gonna make up or is somebody getting out the door?
You're going to have to make it up. No doubt about it. Nate McMillan's going to have to make a meeting with Trae Young. Listen, Trae, we got off on the wrong foot. I know you're trying to do the best you can to get back on the floor. But, my job is always hanging in the balance because I'm the head coach. I got to motivate you guys, and it's all about more wins than losses. So I need you on the floor. I need you to be my captain. I need you to be my warrior. And if you're not here, we're going to have a hard time getting W's. So I didn't want to push you. But just try to understand my position. But I was wrong, or whatever the case may be, and just settle it. Be men about it.
yeah,
Therefore,
because
Trae
there's a
Young,
lot of pressure on Nate McMillan too, Berg. I
yeah,
definitely concur. They missed
you
the
know,
playoffs last year. They had a whole bunch of issues last year.
hmm hmm
Um, but yeah, there's a lot of pressure on Nate McMillan. So he's
But
probably
hold,
not.
exactly.
but
Exactly.
but check this out, she. What
Mhm.
if because there was another part of the story that they were talking about how information was being leaked from teammates and stuff like that. So how much leverage, if that's the case, like how you think Trae going to carry? Do you think Trae got leverage to demand to be traded out of Atlanta? Like how you think that's going to go?
Well, that's another story altogether. We don't know the language of his contract and all that, but if he has that type of leverage, man, I think, Nate, you better definitely kiss this man booty, man. Get things back on a straight and narrow.
No, I mean, there's a lot of
You
pressure on
know?
him. Remember, they had a
You
lot of
know?
turmoil last year.
Yeah.
And he's probably seen the tea leaves as what's going on. And the coaches understand that their job is probably on the line. And
Yeah, they have to. They definitely do.
Seed, they're really in a good position right now. They're in the number 4th seed right now. And he wants to stay there. He's not trying to like this Eastern Conference. This is really, really competitive, man. It's very easy for the Hawks to get bumped out of the playoffs or actually get into the play-in tournament. It's not much separation.
Right.
And Nate McMillan's job is probably on the line. Who knows?
Yeah.
We're going to see. We're going to see how this play out. Did y'all get a chance to peep Draymond Green's all-time ranking, his top 5 all-time?
No, I have not.
So Draymond Green, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be a topic of discussion because who he has at number 1. But Draymond Green, he has Shaq at he has Shaquille at number 5.
Mikhail?
Who he had at number 5?
He has Shaq at number 5. Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay.
At number 5. He has Stephen Curry at number 4.
Surprise there. Go ahead.
Draymond has Kobe number 3.
Okay.
He has Michael at number 2, and he has LeBron James as the number 1 all-time player.
Oh, here we go.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
Here we go.
All time?
What's your thoughts about Draymond list?
Well, you know what? I tell you, that list he had. Well, first of all, I'm a little surprised he had Steph at 4. I thought he would have had Steph a lot higher. Because,
That's him being biased right there.
Of course, but you know what? but you're not surprised Steph was on that list either. So it always comes down to who's first, LeBron or Michael, LeBron, and everybody's going to have a difference of opinion in regards to who they think is great and why and how. It's a litany of reasons why. We go to this debate with them. The other 3 players on that list, it's debatable why Shaq's on that list. We're going to tell you something about Shaq. He was the most dominant player to play in the NBA in the low post. I mean, the most dominant player. You could not defend this man. I've seen him embarrass people. I've seen him dunk on people and toss them 4 or 5 feet away from the basket after he dunked on them. But then he got lazy, got fatter. And even Kobe said, if that man had stayed on his game, we would have won 2 or 3 more championships together. And I believe Kobe when he said that. Because that's why you could not defend Shaq. So I'm not surprised Shaq's on that list, but Shaq could have been a little bit higher. And then you look at Steph. I mean, Steph is he's the greatest shooter in the game. And let me tell you something. I grew up watching a lot of great shooters, starting from Larry Bird to Reggie, even his father, Del Curry, great shooter. And list goes on and on. But yeah, Steph has become the greatest shooter in the game at this point. That's bar none.
That doesn't make you a better player. I mean, I don't think he's even better than Kyrie Irving, man. I mean,
who? Steph?
No.
Ooh.
No way.
No, bro.
Kyrie Irving has just a better handle, better at getting downhill, better at finishing, better defender. Man, just Kyrie.
You gotta realize something. When we all talk about a list of talent, it's a totally different list. When you're talking about a list of greatness, you're not talking just about talent. You're talking about everything, all kick a caboodle. We're talking about, how you led your team at crucial times. And yes, unfortunately, you're going to have to list the accomplishments because guess what? When you have records, those records come from where? Accomplishments.
Accomplishments are a team thing. You know what I'm saying? Without the team,
I understand that. But accomplishments are all these records you have. This team broke this record. That player broke that record. That's on the list of accomplishments. Unfortunately, that is the way it's going to be labeled. That is where you're going to be judged. Not just about. Yeah, go ahead.
Peep the reasoning though, Rasheed, on Draymond putting LeBron ahead of Michael, and let me know if you agree with this. He says Michael Jordan didn't beat the greatest team ever assembled, nor did he run up against the greatest team ever assembled every year.
I agree. That was the video I did about a couple of months ago, where I'm saying like Michael Jordan didn't have to face no damn John Morant in the playoffs. I mean, he faced John Stockton twice, and John Stockton ain't no damn John Morant, man. That's you know what I'm saying. That dude is ridiculous, man. You
What
know what
about
I'm saying?
Isaiah?
Nah, he ain't no John Morant. I'm saying John Morant.
Isaiah Thomas? You put Ja over Isaiah Thomas?
Hell fucking yeah. What?
Wow.
This guy jumped. This guy jumped from the dotted.
You know what? Let me interject real quick. Let me interject real quick because see, we're having this conversation now based on the players we see now. Now, let's just say we all having this conversation 10, 12 years ago. We're not having the same conversation.
Not at all.
Not at all. Because you can bring John. Hold on. Let me finish. You can bring John Moran in there as a cure-all because of this man's like a gazelle. But if we go 10 years, back in the past, just 10 years, we're having it. And what about? See, we keep forgetting about one player that just could not stay healthy, but it was undeniably undefendable. Tracy freaking McGrady. And we never talk about Tracy freaking McGrady because no one could defend that man. That man went all over the place. And he was doing Michael Jordan moves. He was doing LeBron moves before LeBron got there. The man could not be defended. The only problem with him, he could not stay healthy. Had he stayed healthy, we having a totally different conversation. Totally
Who you
different.
going with, Bert?
All right, so I'm going with LeBron. I'm going with
Wade?
LeBron. It's just that Michael Jordan is more skilled than LeBron James, but just LeBron James as a player just gives you so much more. The ability to play 1 through 5, guard 1 through 5. And I was saying Michael Jordan before, but then when I seen LeBron James in the 2016 NBA Finals when Kyrie went down and K-Love went down, he averaged 37 points a game, 13 rebounds, 12 assists, almost won game 1. There was some shenanigans with the referees. They lost game 1, but they should have kind of won game 1. And then they won the next 2. They almost went up 3-0 by himself with Dellavedova as his next best player. I don't think Mike could do that. I'm sorry, man.
I'm sorry. In that series you're mentioning right there, I'll tell you right now, if Draymond Green hadn't kicked somebody in the groin, that series would have been over long before it happened.
That was the following year. That wasn't
well,
that series.
No, that's the same. I think that's the same. Okay, well, you know what? That's the whole thing.
That was the following year. Yeah, that was the following. When Kyrie and K-Love came back. Remember, they were up like 3-1 and they came back. Yeah. That was the following year. But the year I'm talking about was in 2016 when Kevin Love got hurt due to Olynyk pulling his shoulder out of socket there. And then Kyrie went down. I think it was in game 1 with the knee issue. He had a cracked kneecap, I believe. Mm-hmm. So that was that year. And LeBron James, I think he was the MVP of that. Even though they lost, I was like, whoa, he gained my respect as a player, man. I don't think Mike can never do that. Mike had a squad, man. Mike had a squad. I mean, he had a squad. Everybody keeps thinking like Mike had
everybody had a squad, and you can't win without having other players around you. And you can always pull that one season out about what LeBron was able to do, and that's fine. No one will take that from him. He did do a real heroic performance in order to get that team to win in Cleveland for the first and only time. So no one will deny that. But we're talking about a long list of consistent, continuous success by one player. And, LeBron has had his off seasons based on injuries or with the team around him, understandably. But I look at this list, man, there's like 8 seasons Michael played all 82 games. I'm looking at it right now. And being a career 36-point game scorer. And I look about the way defense is being played today. What Michael went through when there was hand checking, the Indiana Pacers, the Detroit Pistons, the New York Knicks, all these guys that played the way they played, and he averaged a career 36-point game. And you look about the way the defense is being played today.
No hand checking.
No hand checking.
It's hard to play defense.
Hold on. Yeah. Well, wait a minute. 36 points a game when they were playing defense. The way they're playing it now. What do you think Michael would do now in his prime in this time?
But he still has to guard, though. You understand what I'm
No
saying?
problem. No problem.
If
No
he gets
problem.
cigars, he still has to play defense. I
But
know he
wasn't
would
Michael? But
he
wasn't
would
Michael?
destroy people,
Okay,
but
but
he has to
wasn't
play defense on the other end too.
okay? But wasn't he on a defensive? Was he on all defensive team? What Michael was?
But yeah,
Wasn't he on?
come on, Barrett,
Okay,
The
but
players
he played
today are
defense.
much better than those players.
No, we can't do that now. We can't
Well,
jump on that
I
now.
do think I do agree with Rasheed as far as like you said, like when now the game now, even though there's no defense, these guys are more athletic now. So Jordan probably could put up 40 offensively.
He
would.
The Wayne
He
Tanner
would.
gonna be a bitch though.
Look at Giannis. Giannis is a 7-footer that dribbles the ball like a guard. Jordan
Look at LeBron. LeBron don't play no defense.
Michael Jordan, in his wildest imaginations, could not stop no damn Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Well, he wouldn't be matched up against him. He wouldn't be matched up against him anyway. It's not logical.
No, they run a lot of screens.
But listen. It would not be logical. It would not be logical. I could not see it happen no more than once or twice in a game.
They run a lot of screens. Even though
you
want to guard him, eventually he's going to get switched on to Giannis, though. That's what I'm saying. They run so
But it's not going to happen the entire game. You're lucky if it happens on 3 different possessions of a game that even happens. You can live with that. You can honestly live with that. But you're talking about it being 40% of the game. I don't see that happening. I just won't see that happening.
What do y'all think about the Lakers?
The Lakers?
I mean,
it was a good move.
That's your team
to actually put Russell Westbrook to the bench. That way, you can actually run the second unit and get these guys. What do you call it? Like put those bench players in the best position to actually thrive. Because now
Pat Bev producing, Rasheed.
Huh?
Pat Bev producing though.
He's washed up, man. I mean, he's just there for he's like 34 years old now, 35. I mean, he played hard. Yeah, you're right. He's not giving no productivity. But then Dennis Schroeder is a scoring point guard. He's not a facilitator like Russell Westbrook. So I thought it was a great move to actually get Ben Simmons on the bench, so he can actually run the second unit. None of them bench players.
Talking about Westbrook.
I'm sorry, Westbrook. I'm sorry. Westbrook to actually run the second unit and get those guys into good positions, because none of those guys are like high percentage passers where Russell Westbrook is. It's the same thing when Ben Simmons came off the bench when Kyrie was out. It's like, oh, but Ben Simmons got benched. It's like, no, Ben Simmons is actually running the second unit, because Joe Harris, Seth Curry, those guys aren't ball handlers where they can out there and they don't know how to make high percentage passes like Simmons can. And so it was a good move by Darvingham. I'll give him that. And the results is pretty good so far.
Ben Simmons. Anthony Davis, he had a double.
He's been balling out, man. Last 6 games. Yeah, yes, he has. He's been balling out, bro. Woo.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis been showing
against Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, he's been balling out this whole last 4 games. Balling out. I think he's averaging what is it now? Oh yeah, he's averaging 28.6 points a game right now. Anthony Davis.
Does he get MVP votes if the Lakers make this playoffs?
He should, if he continues playing this way. Absolutely. LeBron needs help, doesn't he? This is the help you asked for. This is Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, get to the basket, assisting, blocking shots.
If he can get this team to the playoffs, even if it's like a low seed, like a play-in, or like let's say a 6 seed, a 7 seed. Yeah, man, definitely, man. Because it shouldn't just be about the best record. It's like an MVP is who's most valuable. Not the best record. If I take like when Michael Jordan actually retired, right?
Right.
Scottie Pippen almost took that team to the to the finals the following year that Michael Jordan retired. So that means Michael Jordan, even though he was a great player, the best player, he wasn't as valuable because Scottie Pippen still led that same team to the almost to the finals. It was a Hugh Hefner call. But if you take Michael Jordan,
against Hubert Davis. It was against Hubert Davis.
If you go into like the lottery, then yeah, Michael Jordan's very valuable. So yeah, if Anthony Davis actually gets his team to the playoffs, I say yeah, man, absolutely.
No, I think Anthony Davis is playing. He's playing outside of his mind right now. This continues on, and he stay healthy because I mean, right now he's played 20 games. LeBron's played 16.
Right.
Considering his injury history, he's been pretty reliable. 28 points a game, 10 boards a game. He's balling out, man. 59% from the field. This dude, he's playing his butt off right now.
Yeah.
This is probably the best we've seen him play since the bubble. So
Yeah.
he continues on this path and can stay healthy, and then LeBron comes along behind him. Absolutely, this team can definitely make a push.
The Lakers started the season off 2-10. Their last 10 games, they are 8-2, man. So they doing their thing. Fellas, I appreciate you, man, coming through, man, to the show tonight. About to wrap this thing up. Big up again to the NBA community. Salute the Sports to the Wire. Make sure y'all follow those guys on YouTube. Subscribe to their channel. Any final thoughts y'all fellas want to let the people know before we get up out of here?
Brooklyn Nets championship, man. Championship this year. Call me crazy. I'm calling every there's no injuries and everybody's healthy for the most part.
That's what everybody.
Shooters in Brooklyn, man.
y'all gotta get some shooters, man. You know it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, everybody got to get some shooters, man. Even the damn Knicks got to get some shooters, man. When you're highest. Well, yeah, I've been one since 1977, bro. I've been there. There's Rory Sparrow and Bernard King and them boys, man.
I'm trying to get him to come over to the Brooklyn side of things, man. But he's just a loyal damn Knicks fan, man.
That's right, man. My loyalty goes where it goes,
you know man. What? Let me tell you something, Seven. James Dolan is looking really, really good now compared to Joe Tsai now,
Oh, my God.
Joe Tsai is going to be the next Dolan. Dolan's been looking like a fantastic owner. A really, really good owner compared to the Nets owner.
Well, next time I have you guys on the show, I want to do a hypothetical. Since you are a Knicks fan, I want to have a topic on what if KD and Kyrie went to the Knicks instead of across the streets of Barclays Center. I think that'll be a good conversation.
Really?
Derek can give you a whole dissertation on that, man.
All right, fellas, I appreciate y'all so much, man, coming through as always, man. Big up to y'all.
Thanks for the invitation, man. Very well appreciated, man.
Absolutely, man. Seven Mitchell here, man. This is the Best of Seven Sports Talk. Once again, people, make sure you guys like, comment. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and go over to Sports to the Wire. Subscribe to my guys' channel. They doing their thing. Anthony, big up to you, my brother. Good questions that you had tonight for the panel. Appreciate you guys. Y'all stay safe, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. I'm out. Peace, fellas.
All right.
Peace out. Peace out.